forward to hearing from you. I think you're still on mute, Bruce. Okay.
He is still on mute.
There. Can you hear
There
me?
we go. There we go. All right. Thank you, Bruce.
All right. Technology is not one of my strong points. I'm a much better home builder than I am a tech person. But anyway, yes, I was asked to speak about sustainability, which is one of my passions for housing. That kind of comes from, I've been around construction pretty much all my life. I say 70 some years because at the age of 4, I was on job sites with my father, who also was a builder when I was growing up. So I've been able to build around the country in various environments, and each environment is a challenge to work in. Growing up in Illinois and living in Michigan and New York, I got the cold weather along with my 4 years of experience in Antarctica environment. And then I've lived in Arkansas and Florida, which is hot and humid. So they both present their challenges, but we're going to talk about Florida and what we can do here to improve efficiency of our homes, the sustainability of homes, and that. It's kind of interesting when you start talking about sustainability. There's many different explanations, or a couple of them that I found kind of interesting are: a sustainable house is designed to minimize the environmental impact by using natural resources efficiently, reducing energy consumption. That's a pretty good explanation. And then another one was saving energy, water, and maintenance on systems and appliances contribute to making a home sustainable. When you have a sustainable home, you create a healthier environment for yourself, family, and pets, your community, and your bank account, it says, which is true. Energy efficiency is a big thing we all strive for. But my favorite one is solar energy, solar panels, native landscaping, energy efficiency appliances, an elegant place to hang garments. You need to be there so that your husband and wife doesn't ruin their $350 item. Luxury items need to be air dried. I just thought, wow, that's really a reason to have sustainability. To me, the more important is that energy savings. I got to see firsthand in my time in Antarctica the change in environment. I was down there in 86 through 90, and that's when the first ozone hole was the big issue. And I got to witness the first time in the area that I was at a temperature go above 32 degrees. And the water was just pouring off of the glaciers down the mountains. It was pretty frightening to see, what this global warming is doing to us. So having been a builder in several states and building the more expensive, what now are the multi-million-dollar type homes, I suddenly realized that there needed to be change, that we needed to start looking at how we can build a home differently. And coming back, I had the opportunity to work a couple jobs. I was an application engineer for critical electrical power systems and that. But then I met this interesting woman who's my wife, some may have seen on camera. And she was working for Habitat for Humanity in Sarasota. And so I got involved volunteering, and then the opportunity came up, for a permanent job with them. And I've been able to work with 3 different habitats now for 20 years. The nice thing about Habitat is we're not a for-profit builder. We can experiment. We can look and see what different materials are available. And there's a lot of different, materials that are out there and a lot of different ways to build. So one of the things that I really started looking at was what are some of the certification programs? What do they require when you want to build a more sustainable home? And so we started looking at Energy Star. Energy Star, you're probably all aware of because you see the stickers on your appliances and that. They have a lot of good ideas that they recommend. I do highly recommend the use of Energy Star appliances. There's Water Star, which is along the same lines, but that has to deal with water. And, typically our water faucets use 3 to 4 gallons of water a minute. Under Water Star, they recommend that you change out the aerators, and you're using about 1.5 gallons. Now, I know a lot of people like that force of water, that water pressure to be strong, like in a shower and that. But with the proper shower heads and water faucets, you don't really notice the difference that much. And we were able to build a development in Ellington that was actually a Water Star rated development, which was one of the first in Florida, meaning that all the fixtures in the houses used less than 1.5 gallons of water, and we had very low impact in water usage for the entire 18 units that we built there.
Wow.
Then you get into some of the U.S. Green Build Coalition, Florida Green Build Coalitions. These are organizations that have certification programs. You may have heard, like a gold compliant home or a platinum compliant. They have silver, gold, and platinum compliant homes. And we were able to build the first residential platinum home built in the state of Florida. It was a great opportunity to learn how to build a highly efficient, sustainable home. With that, I got a call from Department of Energy, and the EPA has a building program where they're looking at how to improve homes. And right now, that's called Zero Energy Ready Homes. It's the most stringent certification program in the country. A lot of good information is available from them. They asked if we would compete in a program they call the Housing Innovation Award Program. And in 2013, we won the award for low-income housing, and we were the first nonprofit to ever do that. So it's been quite enjoyable learning all of these new techniques. We build our houses with volunteers, and so I make the statement all the time that the volunteers that we have working for us are some of the most highly skilled, energy efficient builders in the country. And when they do a great job. So what makes a house sustainable? When I started looking at all these programs, I started piecing together, different parts of the programs as to what made sense for us to be able to build. And I was able to work with some of the rating companies. These are the people who do these certification programs, and sit at their computer and do the what if. If I change this and it costs me this much, what do I get in savings? And we played that what if game and put the house together that way. Well, what we looked at was there's basically 6 categories that I looked at in designing the homes. I looked at the energy efficiency of a home. I looked at the sustainability of the home, the safety factors in the home. I looked at universal design, which is living in place, meaning that many of our homes are now being used by multi-generations, from young kids to elderly. And so does it meet the needs of all of these families? Also looked at the ADA requirements for accessible homes. We wanted the homes to not be compliant, but be accessible at least for anyone who is handicapped or in a wheelchair. And then the last one was Resilient Homes. That's a program being sponsored by the homeowners insurance companies. And you're probably going to hear more and more about this in the future. If you have your home certified, they'll lower your homeowners insurance. Again, they have a very similar silver, gold, platinum ratings on houses. The biggest problem that they have right now is not having enough raters, people who can go out and certify the homes, especially in our area. There's really only one, and he's up in St. Pete, very difficult to get a hold of. But working from the national level, I submitted our house plans and answered about 3 rounds of questions for them. And they were quite excited because they said that we could have the first platinum certified home in the state. And then COVID hit. And so we kind of backed away from being able to get it certified. And they're truthfully, Resilient Homes is still in its infancy stages, trying to get geared up to where they can actually have a good certification program. So looking at all of these, to build energy efficient, what does that take? There's many different ways to build houses. There's the stick built, which is the traditional wood framed home that you see up north and everywhere. Down here, we see concrete block homes going up. We're concerned about the wind speed, about hurricanes and that. Some of the new techniques are ICF block, which is a insulated concrete form. That's ICF. That's styrofoam panels on each side of an opening that you pour solid concrete into. That happens to be what we're building with in Manatee County Habitat. It's an 11-inch wide block. It has 6 inches of solid concrete poured in it. It's reinforced with rebar, both horizontal and vertical. Very strong structure. Will withstand over 240 mile per hour wind speeds. It's a great building system. It builds like Legos. It's big styrofoam blocks. They're 48 inches long, 16 inches high, 11 inches wide. You can hold it in one hand. It's the equivalent of 9 concrete blocks. So it's very easy to work with. It's a good building system. Then there's SIP, which is structure insulated panels. That's where you've got plywood and styrofoam that's bonded together. It gives you a good R value. It will also do 240 mile per hour plus wind speeds. It's another great building system, although it's a little more expensive. And then there's the concrete forms that are tip up, and that gets rather expensive for residential use. You'll see that more in commercial applications. So we're currently using the ICF blocks. We use a wood truss system. There's many different types. The Florida Building Code for our coastal area is 150 mile per hour winds. So that's what we build to. And so trusses for the roof are rated at 150. You can buy what they call an improved package, which is 160. And that's what we use. We use 160 mile per hour. To me, it doesn't make much sense to have a wall system capable of 240 and then skimp on the truss system. You want the trusses because the roof is one of the most vulnerable parts in our hurricane situations. So it's best that you use the best system you can. On the roofs, we use metal roofing. I think it's the best roof system that you can use. Our shingled roofs have a lot of problems in windstorms. They will last about 15, 20 years. So when you talk really sustainability, you've got a lot of waste. You strip that roof off and all of that tar goes to the landfill. When you use metal roof will last forever if you take care of it. If it does start to get a little bit of rust, you can clean it up and paint it. You'll never have to replace a roof again. Whereas, like I said, with shingles, you're looking at every 15, 20 years, you got to put a new roof on. There is talk in the state that they may no longer allow asphalt shingled roofs to be used on houses. That would be a rather interesting move, but I can certainly understand it given our hurricane situation. They seem to be getting stronger and stronger each year. So it does make sense. Tile is pretty good. Most tile roofs will go about 40 years. They're extremely expensive. They're pretty much the same as slate roof. They're expensive, and they eventually will need replacing. So the roof really is a strong factor. That's the one you want to spend the most money on and be sure that it's strong for your house to have a sustainable house. There's a lot of other things that we do. We use our windows that we use are impact resistant glass. They're low E. They are argon gas filled between the two glass panels. They're probably worth the money. They are expensive. You can buy a high wind speed window, but then they require shutters or some type of protection. Shutters are a good idea. I think in low income housing especially, we used shutters on our houses for a number of years because if you break an impact, impact resistant window will break, but it breaks like the windshield of your car. It kind of shatters. It doesn't break through, but they will break, and they're very expensive to replace the glass in an impact resistant window. Probably 3 to 4 times the cost of the glass in a high wind type window. But putting shutters over high wind windows makes sense to me, because any flying debris is going to hit your metal or Kevlar type shutter or window protection and not reach the glass, and that's the key to it. I'd much rather have a dented shutter than a broken window. So there is some thought to be given as to which window to use. If you have an upper story situation, you're going to have to go with the impact resistant window. It just is more difficult to put panels on second floors or above. Doors. For exterior doors, I like a fiberglass door. I mean, there's wood doors, there's steel doors, but to me, the fiberglass insulated door works best. It doesn't rust, it doesn't rot, it's not attacked by termites, and it holds paint well. But whatever door you choose, you need to have it be outswing for our area. I know that's a little different for those of us who've lived elsewhere in the country where there's snow. Our doors would open in, so that if there's a drift at the door, you can open the door and get out. Whereas in Florida, you want an outswing door because the wind is blowing against the house, and the door is actually stopped by the door frame itself. It holds the door in place. If it's a in-swing door, it can break the casing on the door, and the door will come in, and that's where you want to keep the wind out of your house. So that outswing door actually works best. So you can do this in new construction or in rehab. I really recommend switching to outswing doors. Whenever we do rehabs on houses, that's what we go to. We use spray foam insulation in our attics. Most houses have blown-in insulation, where it's a fiber that fills the attic. And what happens with that is your attic will get 140, 160 degrees during the summer months. And that's usually where your air conditioning ducts are. And so you've got 55-degree air in your duct, and you've got 160-degree in your attic. Using spray foam insulation, it sprays on the underside of your roof, and it prevents the heat from ever entering the attic. A job well done means that your attic is going to be no more than 10 degrees above outside ambient temperature. So if it's 95 outside, you're going to have about 105 degrees in your attic, which is a big difference from the 160 sitting above the ceiling of your house. So that's something that can be retrofit in a house. You can leave your batt insulation and just spray foam the underside of your roof and gain that advantage. There's a lot of other things that we do in our houses. We use what they call a self-leveling compound when we pour a concrete slab for the floor. Any penetrations, we use a self-leveling compound around. It prevents bugs from coming in. Bugs can come in through any penetration in concrete. Prevents plant life. I've actually opened up a wall and had a plant growing inside the wall because it came up through the floor. And any kind of like radon gas or anything. And believe it or not, we do have radon in this area, usually not to an extent that we ever have to worry about, but at very low levels. Parts of our county in Manatee are do have radon gas. So this sealant seals all of that out. When we build our houses and we drywall our houses, we seal around all of the outlets. So your receptacles, where you plug your wires in, your switches, your lights in the ceiling, all of that drywall is cut in around those fixtures, and it's usually left open. We seal that up so that air inside the house does not migrate into the attic or within the wall. We want to keep the air conditioning in our living spaces. When we paint our homes, we use low VOC, volatile organic compounds. Any product that you have will off gas. Most building products will. Carpeting is one of the worst that will have high VOC. You're looking for something below 200. In the state of California, they want it below 50. I recommend that you look for something below 25. The products that we use in the construction of our homes are 0. And that's so that we have healthier homes. The clientele that we serve, low income, many of the kids have respiratory problems. They'll have asthma or something like that from being in environments that have a lot of mold or fumes and that are harmful to them. So these low VOC products, I would recommend anytime you buy furniture or want to paint a house, you look at what the VOC content of the off-gassing of that, and they should give a number. And like I said, you want it to be at least below 200. The other thing that we do is ventilation within the homes. Because our homes are very tight in design, we introduce 6 inches of fresh air into our every time the AC runs in the house. It pulls in fresh air from outside so that we get an exchange of air within the house. It also helps to balance the pressure within the house. But it has a dampener door so that when the AC runs, the dampener opens, fresh air comes in, it gets pre-treated by the AC system and then gets put into the house. When the AC is done running, that dampener closes so that that hot, humid air from outside will not infiltrate into the house. And if there is like a forest fire or something that's causing a smell or fumes in the area, there's a manual override so that we can keep the dampener closed and not take that fresh air in. It's kind of like in your car, you have the recirculating air, so it works the same way. But ventilation is important. it's really important to have a vent over your stove, your range area. Um, a family of four will introduce about a quart of water into the environment within your house, raising humidity. So every time you cook, it's best that you can vent that to the outside air. A lot of places used to vent them just into the attic, which is not a good idea. You've got that moist air, moist heated air going into your attic, and that's not where you want it. But you'll see also bathroom vent fans are encouraged for all houses. That moist air that you have in your bathrooms, you need to get that out of your house. And something that is really new and really makes a lot of sense is putting a vent fan into your utility room. What we're seeing is that the utility room, your laundry room, has some of the highest polluted air in your home. And you start thinking about you've got your Clorox, your chlorine in there. You've got phosphates in your soaps. And you can really smell it. Oftentimes, if you've got a small room and it starts to warm up a little bit, you'll smell that chlorine smell in your home. And so what we do now is we put a bathroom vent fan in the laundry room. We wire it so that every time you turn the light on to the laundry room, that fan runs and cleans the air out in your laundry room. That's an easy retrofit for houses. You can do that pretty easily. Ceiling fans really help for sustainability. You want to have a house that you can afford to live in. And normally, what makes you warm is humidity, not necessarily temperature, but the circulation of air moving around you will help that. And so ceiling fans in all the bedrooms and in the living room, den areas, even the kitchen works well to have ceiling fans in them. Again, easy retrofit. Water heaters. We use a hybrid hot water heater. It acts like a heat pump. It produces 1 ton of air conditioning. So it actually can help cool a house if it's in the right location. They're a little more expensive, but 40% of your electric bill is to heat water in an electric hot water heater system. And this hybrid system really reduces the cost of heating water for your home. I recommend all electric appliances. I know a lot of people like gas stoves. My daughter's a chef and she wouldn't be without one, but that introduces carbon monoxide into the house that you've got to be concerned about. Any type of open flame, whether it be a gas water heater or a range or a fireplace, you have to be very cautious. You need monitoring systems in your home if you have any open flame areas in the house. And going all electric, you may consider solar panels for your home. We've got them on a couple of our houses. I have them on my own home. They work extremely well. They're virtually maintenance free. They're just up there collecting light. Keeping the utility bills down. And then just looking at, the rest of the house using, low flow water faucets, and that. You can buy them that way. You can, I recommend hard surface floors throughout the house, getting rid of the carpeting, again, the DOC situation. But hard surface floors are so much better for our environment where we've got sandy and soils and that. It's a lot easier to clean up a tile or a vinyl. We use tile floors in our wet areas and vinyl click lock floor, you can get them in hardwood, or now you can get the solid vinyl. We use the solid vinyl because it's not impacted by water. And it's a little easier on the knees and hips and the heads of small kids that bounce off the floor. Tile is not very forgiving, but the vinyl does have a little bit of give to it. So that's what we use. So there's a lot of things that you can do for sustainability. Really not sure. I guess I've used up quite a bit of time, and I do want to have time for questions. So maybe the best thing to do, Randy, is just open it up for questions, and I'd be glad to answer anything I can.
Sure, that'd be fine. Anybody, feel free to chime in with questions. First of all, Fab, I want a house that you built. Everything sounds great. We've got some of that in our personal residence, but some of the good stuff, but not all of it. And just terrific. So I'll open it up. Anybody's got a question, feel free at this point to put them out there to Bruce. Mary Lynn?
Yeah, when you referenced DEP in regard to one of the awards program, was that the U.S. or the Florida?
We won both. The U.S. program, the platinum was Florida. We won a special recognition through the Florida Greenbuilds Association as the most highly efficient home built on the Gulf Coast area for that year, for 2013. Yeah, the houses that we built, these were in Ellington, and they were actually, I guess simply said, they were duplex houses. They were what the county calls a shared walled home. So they were two-sided. That helps a little bit, energy efficient wise. You've got one wall that you're sharing with another house, so you don't have that exposed to the heat. But there's what they call HERS rating in energy efficiency. A HERS rating of 100 is a standard Florida building code home. And then as you improve on it, the number goes down. The HERS, standard HERS is coming down each year. The year that we competed, it was 100. Now we're down into I believe the last I saw was the 80 range is considered more of a standard home in Florida now. But the house that we built came in at a 22. So we were using only a quarter of the energy that a normal house would use. Our homeowners were paying about $40 a month in utility bills.
Impressive. Other questions?
Someone asked.
Yeah, go ahead, Barbara.
Go ahead. I'd like to know, I'm considering replacing the tile floor that I have in my home. Would luxury vinyl be a better choice environmentally?
Yeah, the thing about vinyl floors is most of it is petroleum-based products.
Mm.
So you kind of say, well, I'm using oil on my floor, but on the other hand, it's water resistant. So I think it's kind of a trade-off. The vinyl floors are extremely durable. They'll last as long as tile does. I have them in my home. It's the click lock floor. You need to buy a good flooring. Typical good, better, best type flooring that they have available. If you can get at least the good, if not the best. It's easier to install and holds up a lot longer. What I like about it is there's a little bit of hip cushion there. It's not as hard on the knees and hips as tile floor is. Standing a long time in a kitchen on tile floor, it really fatigues my legs. So I like the vinyl. That's what we have in our kitchen.
Anybody else? Okay.
There's a question
Uh,
in chat.
John?
Yeah, thanks, Bruce. I assume you deal with people who are involved with codes or code enforcement quite a bit. I'm kind of interested in talking to somebody in the county or city about green concrete.
Right.
The American Concrete Institute has recently come out with actually recommendations that should be in codes, building codes for green concrete. I just call it that. There's different things there, but uh,
Mm-hmm.
so how would I get started? Who would I talk to, or where should I go first? Or
The best thing to do is go to a concrete company. Um, Cemix locally or any of the other concrete suppliers in the area will be able to give you information on green concrete. They have it available in this area, so it is available. Uh, we're not using it, but we do use a concrete that has a lot of fly ash in it, which is a way to use up and reuse a product that typically goes to landfill. Um, and so we use that not in our floors, but we use it in our walls when we pour concrete. Um, our house is about 1,200 square feet, and we'll use about 27 yards of concrete. So it's quite a savings for us using the fly ash, and it also um, uses up, it recycles a product that normally would be in the landfill. But green concrete, I think the best thing to do is talk with the concrete company. They can help you uh, understand if there's any issues locally with with the building department. Otherwise, I mean, if you want to hear from somebody in the building department, I'd just recommend giving them a call or going down to the county building or the city. City is very helpful. City of Bradenton in the last couple of years have become very helpful to homeowners in the area, especially in development and understanding what people are wanting to do with their homes. So I'd go there.
And both are called just the building department?
Yeah, building department's on the fourth floor of the county building, and I know I know before COVID it was easy to go in there all the time. Now they do have some restrictions at times on being able to get in and actually sit down and talk with someone, but you can send them an email or a phone. Usually within 48 hours, you'll get a phone call back from the county. Um, it's not always as quick as you would like it to be, but they're really busy. There's a lot of construction going on in the area.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anybody else? Questions for Bruce?
I have a question about whether or not, with the two hurricanes that just happened,
Right.
do you get word back about damage to the Habitat homes, and what kind of damage have you seen local? Zero damage.
Yeah.
Do you build them higher or something?
Well, we do a little bit. Like I said, we're very fortunate in that we can build a little different. A for-profit builder is always looking at where he can cut money from the construction of a home, where we're looking at how can I make this home affordable for our family. I talk all the time about I can build a really cheap house, but then our homeowner is going to have a trouble living in it because it's not about how much the house costs initially. It's about what's it cost me every month. You know, we're all worried about what the monthly cost of the house is. And if I can lower that by putting in some of these features, and these features that I'm talking about is will fall in 7 to 8% additional cost of the cost of the house. So 8% over a 25, 30-year mortgage is pennies. And you end up with a home that, like I said, we had $40 electric bills on a house that normally would be 140, 160 for that size house. And that's what we want to do for our families is keep that monthly cost down.
Thank you. It's very.
I got one question, Bruce. You mentioned the metal roofs you think are the best. With all the roofing going on these days, we've got some folks out in our area. They've done the metal roofs, but they have like I'm going to call it a grit on them, that type of thing. Do those hold up well? Also, usually you think of metal roof, you think of they're almost corrugated looking, you know?
Yes, yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's several different types of metal roof, the corrugated. We happen to use a design style called 5V, which has a V groove in the roof and that. And we use the mill finish, which is the natural metal finish, which kind of turns gray over time. You want something light. Now, what you're talking about is the metal tile that they have available, and it's quite an interesting roof design because you can have them either look like a shingled roof or you can have them look like a barrel tile roof, and they will have an aggregate on over the top of the metal. The thing is that the metal is going to stay there over time. Some of that grit will wear off, but you know, it's going to be a 25 to 35-year roof as opposed to a shingled roof. And they look really nice. They look like a shingled roof. I know that a lot of homeowner associations in the area, they'll specify that it's got to be a shingled roof or it's got to be a tile roof, and out west it's got to be a wood shaked roof. and all of those, have their issues over time. And so what I see is that the metal roof seems to work the best in almost any environment, whether it's cold or hot, and they work well. So having that little extra feature of an aggregate that kind of gives some texture on the roof is a nice feature. It's expensive. It's time consuming to put on. I've gone to school for it and put a roof on with it. And it probably takes about 3 to 4 times the amount of time it would take to put a metal panel roof on. But they really look nice when they're done.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask a question about the
Mendel?
3D?
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm in Delatory, and my sister Stefan is actually on, and I think she had actually written in the chat a question about 3D printing houses.
Mm-hmm.
She's very supportive of those, and we wanted to just get your opinion of that.
I think they're pretty neat. I like it. I've seen them built. I think it's going to be quite interesting as we move forward. I mean, there's so many new techniques, that people are trying to lower the cost of construction of housing. I mean, even using the mill van storage containers and stuff like that. I've looked at all of that, trying to find affordable ways. But the 3D printer, you got to be used to. There's no 90-degree corners in the house. They're typically rounded corners, which are pleasant, and it softens the look in the house. They do build relatively quickly, about a day and a half on some houses. You don't want to get too intricate in uh, your floor design, your rooms and that. It's better to leave a lot of open space in that. But I think they work quite well. I've not seen the rating on wind speed for that type of construction. So I'm not sure, but I know that. I mean, they're looking at using it on the moon and Mars, so it's working. It'd be an easy way. I'm not sure how moon dust will compact, but it'd be interesting to see.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, I think that is it. Well, Bruce, this is.
Rebecca has her hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Rebecca.
Thank you. Yes, I wanted to ask, in the days before air conditioning was so common, ceilings, were really high and houses were off the ground and attic fans were in use. Is there a place for those in the work that's being done now in terms of energy efficiency and sustainability?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we learn as we learn something new all the time in construction. Airflow, like you said, being elevated off the ground. I mean, my work in Antarctica, we had to build 4 feet off the ground so that snow would scour underneath the building and not compact under the building. So depending upon, climate that you're building in and that works really well. I like the porch type arrangement, where you have a porch all the way around the house. That porch would shade the main part of the house. There'd be no sunlight that would be directly going into the house. That makes a big difference. We build our houses with a 2-foot overhang. A lot of houses today are being built with a foot, maybe 15-inch overhang. By going to 2 foot, our windows never get full sunlight during the day. There's never sunlight that can enter, even in the winter months as the sun drops on the horizon. That 2 foot overhang still will allow some heat to come in to the lower half of a window so that you have a little bit of heating for the cooler days that we have. But in summertime, as the sun goes up, that it prevents any direct sunlight from being able to enter through windows. And that's the weakest part of the house wall system is your windows. The better the window, like I said, low eaves and argon gas filled and double and triple pane windows, all of those make a big difference on the energy efficiency of a home. I used to have houses that had the attic fans. I don't know how many of you have had experience with that, but it'd be a whole house attic fan. They worked great. I mean, I'm one who loves to open the window and live outdoors more or less, and those attic fans were great, especially at night. So yeah, there's a lot of things we can learn from the past. And if you'll notice that, like a lot of the cracker homes that were built in like the 30s and that, you go inland and you see these cracker homes. What I noticed was back in let's see, what was it, 04, that Charlie hit. I'm trying to remember now. When Charlie went through this area, I drove over to Sebring, and what I noticed was all these homes that were built in the 80s and 90s. Most of them had their roofs collapsed. If it was a gable-end house, they'd be collapsed 3-4 bays in. And then I looked at these 1930 cracker homes with metal roofs. They were there. There was no problem with them. They withstood all of that. And so yeah, there's a lot to be learned from the past.
Okay. Anything else? Well, Bruce, thank you so much. This has been fascinating. This has been terrific. Really appreciate your spending time with us, and a lot for us to take away. So again, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Well, if you ever want to learn how to do any of the work yourself, come join us as a volunteer at Habitat.
Okay.
We'd love to have you.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay, we've got some more for the members of the action team here. We've got some more to go through. Bruce, feel free to go.